Good morning, everyone. To just reiterate for those of you who have joined since I mentioned this last, we are going to record this presentation for the benefit of those who aren't able to attend. Hopefully we can get a good, clear recording to be able to share with others so they can benefit from the presentation as well. I will be sharing a PowerPoint presentation as well as some screens of using the Toastmasters International website as we go through. At the end of the presentation, I will open this up for questions. In the meantime, we will just ask everyone to keep yourselves muted as we go along and save your questions until the very end. And I certainly appreciate you doing that. So on the screen, hopefully you see the opening slide. So now you're a Toastmaster, so what? And some of you are very new to Toastmasters, members of the ACA Toastmasters Club that have joined us. We've been meeting now for just a couple of months, and you're diving in and doing a fabulous job with learning the ropes, if you will, to Toastmasters, and this is just an opportunity to help you become more familiar. We also have some members from the Spartanburg Toastmasters and Spartan Speakers Toastmasters clubs with us, and we appreciate you joining as well. Just to let you know a little bit about myself, I graduated from Furman University in 1979 with a BA, Bachelor of Arts in Sociology. I am a certified employee benefits specialist as well as a senior professional in human resources and worked most of my career in benefits, working with a number of different companies, but the company I worked with when I retired was AT&T. And I retired on December 31st, 2018. During my Toastmasters experience, I had the fabulous opportunity to serve as an international director on the board of directors for Toastmasters International from 2007 to 2009. Just prior to that, I served as district governor of Georgia Toastmasters, which at the time was District 14, and we had the wonderful experience of becoming the #6 district in the world that year because we had fabulous leaders throughout our district who helped us do that. Now, what I do in Toastmasters is I'm a founder, a new club mentor, and secretary for ACA Toastmasters, many of whom are in this meeting with us today. I'm also the secretary-treasurer for Spartanburg Toastmasters and president for Spartan Speakers. My contact information is on the screen, and I will share this presentation with those of you who are participating after the meeting as well, so you'll have that handy to you. Today, we're going to talk about several different things. How to just get started in Toastmasters. Some of you might say, whoa, I've been in Toastmasters for years. That's okay. Sometimes it helps to just go through a refresher, and this will hopefully help you with that. One of the big opportunities we have in Toastmasters is the Toastmasters virtual learning platform called Pathways. It's a learning experience which you access via the internet, and you're able to go through training programs online instead of turning pages in a manual, and that helps you learn as you go. We'll make reference to the fact that it's best for you to set goals and give you a way that you might do that. We'll talk about club meeting rules and how that interfaces with Pathways. Toward the end, we'll mention mentoring and leadership opportunities and some next steps for you to consider as you engage in your Toastmasters experience ongoing. Now, when you first joined Toastmasters, whether it was a few weeks ago or a few months ago or a few years ago, you received a welcome email from Toastmasters International. If you haven't already, you might want to note the email address from which Toastmasters sends information to you, and note that as a safe sender so that you'll be sure and get emails from them as they send them to you. And check your spam filters for Toastmasters messages occasionally if you haven't done that, because you don't want to miss any of the important critical information that they share with you from time to time. In that email, there's a Get Started button that you can click and just follow the steps. But we're going to do some of those steps as we go through this today. One of the things that you do is to verify your profile with Toastmasters. So one of the things I'm going to do right now is go to the Toastmasters International webpage. That's www.toastmasters.org. You can see it up here in the address for this website. When you get there, the first thing to do is to log in. Now, if you've never logged in before, you will have the opportunity to set up a password. And it goes down to information here about how to do that down at the bottom of this page. But if you have logged in, then you enter your member ID. Some people use their email address, as I do. Others might use something else. And you enter your password and click Login. Once you do that and are logged into Toastmasters International, it'll come up here with Welcome and your name. If you simply click on that, where it says Welcome, in my case, Lee, then it brings up your profile. We'll give it just a minute. So there it comes up with a page, and if we scroll down just a little bit, we see information about yourself. You can put a photo of yourself on the Toastmasters International website. You have the opportunity to change that periodically if you want to. You'll see your name, when you originally joined, your member number, and then you'll see information about your address and email address and phone numbers that you use. And if you're a member of more than one club, it will list all the clubs that you're currently a member of. So you want to verify that information is correct. If it isn't, there is a way that you can correct that. You can either send emails to Toastmasters International, or many times there is a live chat feature going on, and you can simply click that and do a chat with someone at World Headquarters for Toastmasters International to correct any information that might be incorrect for you. On this page, there's a number of different links that you can click. If you've been in Toastmasters for a while, you might find it interesting to review some of this information about yourself. One of the things that I want to spend most of our time in today is pathways. Now, on the left side here, you can see Go to Basecamp. That's what you'll want to do once you're enrolled in Pathways. But some of you haven't enrolled, so you'll want to click Choose a New Path. When you click on that, it's going to give you an opportunity to choose one of 11 paths. I'll show you some information about those different paths in a few moments. Or you can view the navigator, and this will take you through some background information, some of which we're covering today, and perhaps some additional information that will help you, number one, in launching your Toastmasters journey, as well as engaging in Pathways. Through either of those methods, you will ultimately choose the path that you want to use. Now, for brand new members, if you haven't yet chosen your path, there is no cost to choosing that first path. But then as you go through your Toastmasters education experience, new paths are only $20. Let's talk about what some of those paths have in them. So if we go back to our screen that we were talking about, where we talked about logging into Pathways and so forth, then we get to the point where, as we've made reference to, there are 11 unique paths. You can take the assessment that is offered to you on the Toastmasters International website to find the best one for you. Note that every path has 5 levels, and I'm going to show you some of those different paths and what they focus on as you go through. But if you click on that navigator icon that I showed you when we were on the Toastmasters International website, that will give you even more information. Now, here are the names of the 11 different paths. And as we go through the next 11 slides, you will see just some brief information about each of those. One of the things I mentioned to you is that each path has 5 levels. Everybody starts out at level 1, and in most of these levels, there are 3 or 4 projects for you to do. I recommend doing those projects in order as they're presented. You'll have project 1, project 2, project 3, project 4 in each level as you go through. And I'll show you my path in a few moments that I'm working on right now that'll help you see some more information about this project. But the dynamic leadership path that you see on the screen right now mainly builds skills around public speaking, interpersonal communication, and management, with additional skills around strategic leadership and conflict resolution. I'm not going to read all these to you, but I just want you to notice the right-hand side here as I go down through the different ones of us. Here's effective coaching, something you can focus on. And you'll notice that a lot of the skills are the same from one to the next. Engaging humor. You want to become an adept joke teller or comedian, or being able to use humor in your speeches to engage your audience. This is a way that can help you with that. Innovative planning, leadership development, motivational strategies, persuasive influence. Then one of the paths that I frequently recommend to people, if they haven't chosen a path when they first joined Toastmasters International, is to really think about using the presentation mastery path. Many of us join to improve our abilities to communicate more effectively. This path focuses on that specifically. In fact, it's a path that I'm doing right now. You might say, you've been a Toastmasters a long time. Why do you do that? Well, never get too old to learn new tricks, new ways, new methods. And quite frankly, it's great to go through and have some of that information refreshed. So I'm looking forward to completing the presentation mastery path. Another one is strategic relationships. Team collaboration. Those of you who work in an environment where you are on a team of doing something together, or you sometimes work on special task forces or whatever, you find it amazing to be able to learn to collaborate with your fellow associates, with your team members, and to come to an agreement about how to accomplish things when there might be so many different opinions. This path helps you through working on some of those skills. The visionary communication was the last one. But no matter what path you choose, your very first speech project is the icebreaker. Everyone begins with this level 1 project. And so all of our ACA Toastmasters right now are working on icebreakers. We've had several meetings where different ones have presented icebreakers, and we're getting to know those members as they talk about themselves and that. Before I go any further in the slide deck, I want to go back to the Toastmasters International website. Now, this is one way. I could simply click go, and this would take me to my pathways information. Let me tell you another way to get there. Instead of clicking the welcome link, if you wanted to, once you've selected your path and enrolled in which path you want to participate in, you could always, when you get to the home page of the Toastmasters International website, I'll just go back there and let you see that. You see this menu across the top of the page here. The second item in this menu is pathways. And if you just click on most of these menu items, it'll drop down several sub-menus. You can look at all those, but the one that I use most frequently is simply go to Basecamp. That's like telling you, open your manual, if you had a written manual in front of you. So if you click Go to Basecamp, it will take you to your Pathways Learning Experience page. So this is a different way to go to Basecamp than the path I was showing you earlier, the route I was showing you earlier, where you clicked your name and it took you to your profile. Either one works. They both take you to the same place. But if you click Go to Basecamp, then one of the things that you will see when it comes up is information about the path that you are working on. See, it says, welcome to Basecamp, and it then tells me I can go to my education transcript and give some other resources there that I can spend on. So if I click on my education transcript, which is probably the most efficient way to get to what you want to learn on, you go down here to your transcripts, paths of learning, or you can just click on that as I indicated. You see, I have two paths that I'm working on right now. I have gone through a good bit of presentation mastery, and I've also started the effective coaching path. Let me click on effective coaching because I'm early in that path, and that will show you more information right at the beginning of when you start your process. So whenever you go into a path, remember there are 5 levels: level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. They're listed here on the side. And you can see the different projects for each of those if you click on a different level. Right now, it's highlighted level 1, which I see over here, the detail about the projects in level 1. And each project has information that you need to do. Now, this path, I didn't start with the icebreaker. This is my 4th or 5th path that I'm working on. So one of the reasons I started this path was to have a project that would apply for the presentation I actually did for ACA Toastmasters a couple of weeks ago, and that icebreaker wouldn't have really fit for that. So I started with that, but I'll go back and do the icebreaker. I recommend that everyone begins with the icebreaker. And the way you begin to access the learning for that path and that project is when it brings up the projects, the first thing you do is just simply click Activate, which I've just done. And you see it changed that from being to say launch. It says I'm registered to do the icebreaker. So if I click launch, it will bring up information that is the training for this path. This is what I call the virtual training. This is the replacement for having a printed manual for you to put pages in. This will have essentially like a PowerPoint slide for you to work through as you go through that. I think some of you at ACA have some of your learning that you do on the job through the same platform that is used for the Toastmasters Pathways program. So this may seem a little familiar to you. It's still loading that page. And while it does that, let's go back and look at the PowerPoint slide for a moment. So like I said, everyone begins with a level 1 project, and we're going to go back and look at that in Toastmasters International Pathways in just a moment. While we're doing that, one of the things for you to think about is what your goals in Toastmasters are. People join Toastmasters for a variety of reasons. And in Toastmasters, our objective is to help you meet your goals. And for us to help you meet your goals, you first need to understand what your goals are. And then once you understand those goals, then express those goals with a mentor or with others in the Toastmasters Club, with your Vice President of Education, who happens to be on this call, Stephanie Savret. She would want to know what your goals are. So as she helps you plan future participation in meetings, she is helping you realize and achieve your goals. Let's go back and look at this icebreaker. You see, this is what it brought up. Like I said, it's like the first page of a PowerPoint slide. And you simply begin that and walk through the different pages of this and learn as you go through. Now, the first page that comes up in every path is how to navigate. And this tells you all the different buttons you'll see as you go through this virtual learning platform, this PowerPoint slide, if you will, how to advance to next information, how to use different screens and so forth. One of the things you'll see every time you do a path is you will get to the point where it will tell you to evaluate yourself, to assess your skills for that particular program. So one of the things it tells us here is it provides a project checklist. That's always going to be there. You can always go back to that and pull the screen up and see information about that project. If I open that, it opens as a PDF file, and I hope you'll be able to see that on this screen. But on this PDF file, you see the purpose and overview of the project and what it includes. And then it goes through steps for you to follow to get ready to do this presentation. There's even more detailed information about doing the icebreaker, and I'll show you that in just a few moments. As you keep going through here, early on, you're going to get to the assess your skills. So you'll pace through this. There's 6 different questions or comments that you indicate, and it gives you the directions down here. Complete the assessment before you go any further. Evaluate your current skills by rating each statement based on how you feel about how you're doing, whether you're developing that area or you're merging or you're accomplished at doing that, you excel, or you're exemplary. You're a pattern for someone else to follow. You do all of that assessment before you go into the actual learning of this path. Now, one of the things I'll tell you, it says this, assess your skills before. When you get toward the end of this training information, going through this page by page, you will come across another assessment. It will be assess your skills after. So after you finish this project, it will go through these same questions and ask you to evaluate yourself again, to assess your skills again. And it'll show you a comparison of what did I learn from doing this? Did I click a 3 the first time, then click a 4 the second time, etc. It's just a way to keep track of what you're learning. And once you do the assess your skills after, you click one more page over and it will tell you you have completed this project. Now I'm going back out of this for right now because this is for me to do on my own, just like it'll be for you to do on your own, to go from path to path. So that was what happened when I clicked the launch for Icebreaker. And I can always go back and relaunch that and keep working through it. You don't have to do it all at one time. You can do it a step at a time. There's going to be a number of other PDF materials that you'll be able to click on, and it'll bring it up to help you as you go through learning in that path. I mentioned a few moments ago that it's helpful for you to determine your goals, and there is a link that is on Toastmasters.org to the new member profile page, and it's just a form, if you will, that helps you write your goals. And I would encourage you to go to that new member profile. When I send you this deck, you can click on that, and it will take you to that page. When you click on the new member profile here, so that can be very helpful for you. One of the things your club wants to know, whether you're in an established club that has assigned you a mentor, or in any club, especially the ACA club, those of us who are new club mentors, Sal, who is on this presentation with us today, Lynn, who is one of our new club mentors, and myself, as well as your club officers, in particular, your Vice President of Education. We all want to know what specifically we can do for you to help you meet your goals. And so it'd be great to give us some feedback about that. Let us know what that is. And as we go through, we will help you as you walk through your learning experience. Now I'm going to talk about, for a few minutes, meeting roles. Each meeting role has a unique set of responsibilities. And the meeting roles are assigned in our clubs. So each time we develop a new meeting agenda, different members are assigned to serve in these different roles. Toastmaster of the day, general evaluator, grammarian counter, timer. We also have vote counter and table topics master. Every meeting is going to have table topic speaker. And of course, everybody wants the opportunity to be a speaker so you can be working on completing your pathways project that you're working on. And in the meeting, we have evaluators. In this PowerPoint presentation, you will find resources that are available to you. And all these resources are linked to information on the Toastmasters International website that will give you information about that. Toastmaster today, this is a great way to learn to lead a meeting. We all have the opportunity to do that, whether it's in our work life, our social life, other activities that we might be involved in outside of work. So this is a place to learn how to be effective at leading a meeting, planning and organizing, how to manage the time, facilitating, motivating others to do that. On these slides, for each different role, we have resources and a little sentence that describes the importance and critical piece about those roles. As you have the opportunity to serve in these different roles, we can provide these resources for you if you haven't found them for yourselves. And we make each meeting more successful by serving in these various roles. One of the things that some clubs do is they have what we call a full circle award. That means when every member has served in every meeting role, then they award that person a full circle award. They completed all those meeting roles. And some clubs set a goal of encouraging every member to earn 2 full circle awards a year, at least one every 6 months. What does that mean? That means that you would serve in every meeting role once every 6 months, at least. And so if you find yourself not having an opportunity to serve in a particular meeting role, you can always raise your hand virtually by sending an email to your Vice President of Education and saying, I'd like to be da-da-da-da-da. And she can look for an opportunity in a future meeting to assign you that. Same thing for the Spartanburg Toastmasters Club. Bernie, who is our Vice President of Education there, has a way for you to say, hey, I'd like to do this. I'd like to be a speaker. I'd like to be the Toastmaster. I'd like to be an evaluator. I haven't done this in a while. Can you assign me that in a future meeting? And that's how we learn and grow in that. There are many, well, let me go back to the prior page, mentoring. So in the Spartanburg Toastmasters and Spartan Speakers Clubs, we have assigned mentors for new members who help them through a lot of this information that we've already talked about here. In the ACA Toastmasters Club, everybody's new, so we don't have people at different stages of where they are in their Toastmasters experience. So we're trying to guide and support all of you as we go through this and make ourselves available, Sal, Lynn, and myself, for you to ask questions as you go through. So anytime you have a question, please don't hesitate to bring that up because you're going to learn. And as you learn to do this in few months, we may have other new members joining ACA Toastmasters. And once you have understood and assimilated all of this information, then you're able to start mentoring others to use pathways and to progress through doing the different Toastmasters meeting roles and to be a support for them as they go through that process. Now, leadership opportunities, just quickly, want to let you know that being a member is not the only thing that you do. Membership, our club members are the most important aspect of Toastmasters International, no question. We exist for the members to learn and grow and develop. Members make up clubs. Generally, there are 4 or 5 clubs in an area. In Spartanburg, we have 5 Toastmasters clubs, which make up Area 71, which is generally the greater Spartanburg area. Then 3 or 4 or 5 areas make up a division. We're part of Division G in our district. And then ever how many divisions a district may have, we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 7 divisions in South Carolina, which happens to be a district. That's not always the case. Some states have multiple districts, and some states, if they're small, they might go together to create a district. And Toastmasters International helps to guide setting up and arranging districts and areas and divisions, etc. Then districts are part of regions. Currently, there are 14 regions around the world, and we here in South Carolina are part of what is called Region 7. And all of Toastmasters International is watched over by a board of directors who help plan the progress, development of our organization and keep us moving forward and accomplishing goals for our organization so that we as members can accomplish our goals as well. You develop your leadership skills serving in club officer roles. We have 7 officers in the ACA Toastmasters Club, and they are just doing fantastic. We go further in our experience in mid-level roles. Once you've served in a club officer role, you might want to volunteer to be an area director or a division director to help other clubs achieve success across a broader area. And then finally, at the district level, we have district director and program quality director, club growth director, etc. As well as at the Toastmasters International level, we have region advisors, 1 or 2 advisors assigned to each region, 14 regions in the United States, in the world, and 1 international director from each of the 14 regions that serve on the board of directors. So those are the leadership opportunities that are available for you as you continue to progress in Toastmasters. And they're progressive. They build on each other. So nothing comes as a surprise. You have the opportunity to say, I want to pursue that. And when you're given that opportunity, you will find it incredible. In Toastmasters, we have different awards and recognitions. When we meet in person, we have club award ribbons that can be given. We have pins for when you achieve a path. When you complete a path, you can get a pin to say, I'm proficient in that path before, as you go on to your next path. We have education badges and awards, digital awards on pathways that you'll learn about as you continue to use the Pathways virtual learning platform. And so how do we communicate with each other? We do it by attending club meetings. That's the best way. We do it by email messages. But email is only as effective as those who read it. So let me encourage you to read and follow through on any emails you get related to Toastmasters International or to your specific club, whether it's ACA, Toastmasters, Spartanburg, Spartan Speakers, or whatever you might be a member. Then another way to communicate with you is the club website. And I hope all of you have gone to your club website and actually logged into the club website, because once you're in the club website, there's information for those who use the type of website we use, which is called Free Toast Host. Underneath the member login, there's member resources that are available to you, including the meeting agenda for each upcoming meeting that gives you an opportunity to see what you're assigned to do and to get a little bit of information about it and to confirm that you're going to be at that meeting and fulfill your role. So I encourage you to do all those things. One of the things I'd like to do now is I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I want you to ask any questions you might have. So I'm stopping sharing the screen, and now if you will have a question, unmute yourself and just get my attention, and I will answer any questions I can for you. So Holliday first. Don't everybody jump at once, it can get confusing. If there's no verbal questions, that's perfectly fine. I think most of you know my email address, topeagle@mindspring.com. If you have any questions from any of this, please let me know what those are, and I'll do my best to get a response back to you. For the ACA Toastmasters Club, where many of you who are here attend, Sal and Lynn are equally valuable as resources to answer questions you might have. I hope this presentation has been helpful for you. I will provide an opportunity for you to respond and give me some feedback about how this meeting went. And on that little survey I send you, you can ask any questions you have at that time. Now here someone has unmuted. Does someone have a question?
Lee, I think I heard you say that we would receive a copy of this PowerPoint for reference?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. And mine's kind of a comment. So I know with the officer roles, just so everyone knows, it's like a one-year commitment, and then we give someone else an opportunity, correct?
Right.
Yes. So officers are elected every year,
Perfect.
and those terms of office typically begin July the 1st and go through June 30th. So every year we elect officers. Some club officers want to try out a different club officer role. Some want to step away and give another member an opportunity to serve as a club officer. And one of the things that those of you who are club officers can do is to look on your club and determine someone you think might be a good person to serve in the officer role you're in right now, and ask that person if they want to serve as an unofficial assistant for you, so they can begin learning the ropes of what it means to be a club officer. And when it comes time to elect club officers, they then have a good understanding of what they mean. Does that answer your question, Stephanie?
It does, with additional information that takes me.
Are there any other questions? Before we close out, I'll ask Sal if he has any comments for us to top off this meeting. Sal, anything you want to share?
Okay, I'm in 3 different groups, and I joined, but I'm also a visitor of my New York group that I've been with 8 years ago, and I give talks with them, and we have a great time. But in all my groups, and even with this group here, I'm the oldest person. But, I learn from people like Lee, who actually take the time out to go over these things, and it's so important. And he said one thing that I wrote many notes down when he was talking today, and he says, whatever age you are, he said it in different words, like you can't teach an old dog new tricks or whatever, but I learn every time because I'm so determined. And I know you're all determined too. I know you also have jobs. I'm retired. But, you know, Toastmasters is a great way to communicate with people. And I do that with all my groups, and I enjoy it so much. And we all have goals, and sometimes my goals jump from one day to another because I want to do so many things before I go to heaven. So I just say that it's so great that when I look at all of you, I see another family, and I feel like Toastmasters reunites us together, and just keep on plugging away. And I learned so many things from this presentation today, because I learned, and it's so good to learn. When we stop learning, it's like, and I wanted to just end my conversation right now by saying what I started by saying, that I'm the oldest one from the groups. But you know something? If you're not dead, you're not done. And I'm going to keep on going as long as I'm here. And I'm glad to be a part of all of you. Lee, I thank you so much for the time that you brought us today, and I appreciate you so much. You're so dedicated, you're so determined, you're so devoted, and I really appreciate you, and I appreciate this club. Thank you.
Thank you, Sal. On the call, we have two club presidents, and if either of you would like to make any closing comments, that would certainly be welcome. John Abercrombie is president of the Spartanburg Toastmasters Club that meets every Monday night at 6:45. John, any words of wisdom to share with us?
No, except I really enjoyed the presentation and think that it's great.
Thank you, John. Brandy, as president of ACA Toastmasters Club.
This was some awesome information. Thank you for sharing it with us. Your presentation was everything. And I'm glad I get to go back and refer back to it. Like Stephanie said, we can get that PowerPoint to refer back to. But it was awesome. Nice meeting everybody. If I hadn't already met you before. But it was an awesome presentation, Toastmaster Lee.
Thank you, Brandy. We appreciate your participation and all the folks who were here. We had a total of 18 of us on this particular meeting, and it's been a pleasure to see you again. I'll see you at our next Toastmasters meeting, whenever and wherever that might be. Have a great afternoon.
You too, Lee. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.